What is going on? Charles Botensten here. Oh, wait, I do that every single morning. All right, so why do I go live? All right, I would say accountability. I've already said that before. I would say the title of this video is absolutely perfect for why change can occur or how change can occur. Okay, so the first thing is 120 days. How many months is that? Four. What's today? Those are 4 full months. Those aren't 4 months, because today is literally May 1st. Okay, it doesn't matter when you're watching this. It could be May 1st, it could be August, it could be December. It doesn't really matter. Change is possible, and it can actually happen in 4 months. 4 months is possible. All right, so I'm just going to talk about this for a second. Where was I going into Christmas break last year? I had an employee that I was thinking about, listen, what are we going to do? How do we take them to the next level? How do we take the business to the next level? How do I take my health to the next level? How do I wake up on time? How do I make the sales calls? I knew what I needed to do. That was the thing. I knew what I needed to do, which was wake up, go to the gym, make calls, do appointments, go home early, sleep, and just do it all over again. The monotonous thing that nobody wants to do. Just want to make sure we're attached to the Wi-Fi. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to do that, which is monotonous. It's boring. It's like when I go to chop salad and someone says, why are you getting the same thing? Why are you getting the same thing? You get the same thing every single time. I get the same thing every single time because it's good for me. It's good for me. Okay, change it up. No, I don't want to because the dressing on anything else has a lot of fat on it. And to be honest, there's chicken. I don't want to do the chicken. There's a lot of things. I like this salad. I'm going to keep on eating this salad. If you get rid of this salad, I'm going to keep on eating this salad. That's really what it comes down to. Is, 4 months sounds like a long time. It really does. But when you look back at it, do you remember when Christmas was? Do you remember when New Year's was? Do you remember when last Thanksgiving was? Do you remember that? It wasn't that long time ago. It wasn't that long of a time ago. Okay? We think it's a long time because we have so much shit crammed into our day to day. Okay? If we were maybe 100 years ago, maybe even 50 years ago, that would be a short distance ago because we did a lot of things. But now we're literally stimulated every second. Every second of the day, we could be stimulated. Okay, so everything feels like it's a long time ago because your brain is just getting bombarded by a lot of bullshit. Okay, when you start taking out the things in your life that do not fucking matter at all. Okay, all those people, all the media, all the social media, all the email, all the things that you're subscribed to that you don't need to be subscribed to. I know Chris talked about he's only subscribed to about 13 channels. For me, it's the same thing. I only watch maybe 2 or 3 people religiously to find out what's going on because I know they're getting better. And if they're getting better, that means I need to be getting better. And author-wise, it doesn't matter author-wise. I'm talking about YouTube. But I've moved from YouTube, I've upgraded, that's the way I like to say it, is that I've upgraded to audiobooks because audiobooks, someone has put in years, decades into 250 pages and you buy it for $15 or $10 or whatever it is on Amazon. How insane is that? Okay. On a video like this, I'm not putting my all, but if I knew I was going to produce one piece of work that I was going to sell, I would be outlining everything. I would have all the talking points in order. So where does this all come from? So this morning I was journaling and I wrote May 1st and I'm like, holy shit, May 1st. And usually when I say holy shit, May 1st, that's saying time is flying. I need to get my ass in gear. But today I said May 1st. I said, how many full months, what's going on, Chris? You already got a nice little shout out. How many full months is that? That's 4 full months. Okay? We're entering the 5th month, but 4 full months. And I said, oh my God, I can't believe how far I've come in 4 months. And then I started journaling and I'm writing this in and I started thinking and writing and I started saying, holy cow, imagine 4 months from now or 4 years from now or 4 decades from now. If I keep on doing what I'm doing, I will be that guy. I will be that guy. And it's like, it's funny because where do you get confidence? You get confidence from micro wins. Micro wins is you start lifting more, or you start going out and girls start responding to you, or you start getting better grades, or whatever the case, you start seeing your body getting into shape and, things like that. Those are micro wins. But macro wins, the ones that really stick with you, they've always said, and I'll get back to that point, they've always said if someone goes into bankruptcy, we'll use Donnie, Donnie, the president. If Donnie went into bankruptcy, which he's done, he's done like what, 400 companies or something ridiculous. And, nothing political here, is that he can find a way to get back to non-bankruptcy. If Jeff Bezos went bankrupt, he has his temperature for hustling, for efficiency in his time, and for money is so much fucking higher than ours, okay? Because he's been there. Elon Musk has talked about it multiple times. He said 2009, he said he was 1 week away from not being able to pay overhead, not being able to pay wages. 1 week away. How many of us, this is going to be an Instagram post of mine. And if you're not following me on Instagram, this isn't like a shout out to follow me on Instagram, but I've kind of just been chaotic on my Instagram. I would sort of put out content. I would not really put out content. But you know what? I said, fuck it. You know what? I'm going to be myself, and I'm going to do long curated posts as much as I can, at least 4 or 5 times a week. It takes me almost, I shit you not, it takes me almost a half an hour to write each post, because I go through, I just regurgitate what's on my mind. What's going on, Fernando? We got a newcomer. I like it. I regurgitate, and then I start fine tuning it, and then I say, okay, how is this helping people? How is this value add? So that is a perfect example, is that, wow, I have all this knowledge. I don't like doing blog posts because I have to log into WordPress and things like that. And I said, I don't really have the audience. I'm going to eventually go to the blog posts. But I said, you know what? I'm going to curate this. I'm going to curate this out to the world. All right. So this morning I started thinking about that, and I started saying, it's been 4 months. I was in a good position. This is the thing, to the hockey stick growth, is that I was going along for 8 or 9 years. I shit you not. Literally today's post is exactly it. I was going around 8 or 9 years, and then this year I said, it just clicked. It just clicked. Everything clicked. Literally everything. Last year I focused on health. The year before that, it was my mindset. The year before that, it was probably just getting my shit in order, and just each year I was just fine tuning. And then it was just like, literally you ever see like a slow motion of an explosion and it goes like that? Imagine a slow motion coming together. It was like year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 this year. And it came together, and I'm like, oh my God, I know the hierarchy of what I want to do. I know the legacy I want to leave. I know what my day-to-day roughly will look like. Because when you're an entrepreneur, this is the biggest thing, is that you have so much uncertainty. You have uncertainty to the marketplace, the clients, to your income, to your health, to your family, to your social life. You have so many variables. When you're working at a 9 to 5, and I'm literally looking at all these buildings, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn this little fucker around, and you guys, actually, here, let me just take this out. Look at all these buildings. Look at all those buildings, all the way down, all the way down. That's what I look at every single day. And I look at those people and I say, what do they want to be doing? A lot of people are like, well, maybe they're happy where they are. Do you really think that? Do you really think, you know what? Jeff, one of my, that was actually a pretty good move, Charles. Put that right back where it should. One of my writing buddy, he brought this up. It was very interesting, very smart. He said, because I was talking about someone that was, so when I left Halstead, honestly, at this point, I'm really just, I don't give a shit anymore. If someone calls me out for something, whatever, So in other words, my manager, I got a piece of fucking hair that's weighing me down. So when I was leaving my old job at Halstead, my manager said he wishes that he was actually producing again, because he's been a manager. He's 55, 56. He looks all right, looks all right. Married, no kids, doing well, has the money, living in New York City, has a pretty vibrant social life probably, doesn't really travel as much as he is, but he said something very interesting in that fact. He said, hey, good morning, Punissa. Am I saying that right? He said something very interesting in that fact. And I told my writing buddy, Jeff, and he's a great guy. You got to get an accountability like him where you could just disclose things like this, where you're vulnerable and people are on the level that you are as well. And he said something very interesting. He said, do you think when he was your age at 32, that he was going to end up at 55 as a manager, making roughly the same amount of money, and his company, to be honest, really is setting itself up for failure in about 10 to 15 years. And I started thinking about it. I said, holy shit, imagine that. All the people that are in these buildings that are looking back decades, and I'm talking about the change that has occurred in 120 days. Okay? So this is what's going to happen. It's not going to happen overnight. You already know that. No need to talk about it. But something will happen where it will just click, okay? The first click was when I started seeing people that I looked up to, and then we would hang out, and they just were not that comfortable or not that confident. And I was like, wow, I used to look up to this person. This person used to be like my role model. He got a lot of girls. He had the money. He had the lifestyle. He dressed well. He was charismatic. And then his company, Town Residential, just went out of business. And this was years ago where I just said, wow. So it was like a small click. And I said, this self-development thing really does it. But there will be a time, a massive shift where things will start coming into your life that you just say, it just works. It just works. And I'll give you this. How do you find balance between wanting to improve and getting somewhere and living in the present moment? Somewhere I get caught somewhere. If you're not in the present moment, I didn't see the second question. If you're not in the present moment, that means you're thinking about something else. And that sounds obvious, but the present moment, you're either thinking about the past, which already occurred and you can't change it, or the future, which hasn't occurred yet and you can't change it. So in the present moment, the easiest way, honestly, is don't look at your phone as much. It sounds so simplistic. When I don't look at my phone, when I'm done with this, I put my phone on my desk. Sometimes I put it in my drawer, whatever you call it, a drawer. You know, that's my New York accent. I put it in the drawer. And then I make all of my calls out of my laptop because I know if I make my calls out of my cell phone, I'm going to answer text messages, emails. I'm going to go on apps. Why? Because I'm then reacting to them. So I put my phone away. When I get on the elevator, I purposely do not look at my phone. And you already know this. I get on the elevator, I look around, I go, wow, I'm like, look at all these people. And whoever doesn't look at their phone, I look how they're dressed, how are they carrying themselves? How do they present themselves to the world? Because if you look at me and I don't look at my phone, you say, the guy's wearing a tie, little 5 o'clock shadow, he, blah, blah, blah. But he's got his shoulders back, he's got his chest out. He's a pretty confident guy. But then you look at the other people, what are they eating? If it's lunchtime, they got a bag of something, fries or burgers. I literally cannot understand how people they still eat that. That is just, I was there until guess what? Education. And then it came together this year. So the hockey stick growth, I'll just leave you with this, guys. And ask any questions on this because honestly, 4 months can change your life. It changed my life. Okay. Adam, who was working with me, we parted ways and it was mutual. And we just said, we're on different levels right now. We're on different levels. I'm talking to people that I'm so confident in front of clients, and I'm not just saying, oh, braggadocious. It's the reason, good morning. The reason being is that when you start getting your things together, the micro wins lead into the macro win. So I didn't actually finish this before. The macro win is when you consistently show up and you get the exact same result. I consistently show up to the gym, and then I come to work, and the result is enthusiasm, is energy. I can go live and just ad lib, okay? I can just go. I could just speak. When I consistently do that, guess what triggers in my brain? And guess what fires in my brain? And guess what wires in my brain? Neuroplasticity, obviously. This is the whole neuroplasticity. And by the way, the opposite is true. When you start not going live, when you start not making calls, when you stop making business development, getting back into it is freaking hard. And I got a story about that. You start saying, still struggling to getting the F up before 9 a.m. This is the thing, is call it improvement. This was the biggest revelation. There's things that I want to improve in my life. I don't say change, because change means there's something wrong. It's the compound effect on drugs. Because the compound effect is, it is consistency, but you start noticing it. The compound effect is you're doing it, and then you see a result 6 months from now. A better body, a lot of business, better relationships, I don't know, whatever, the compound effect. But when you're looking in at real time and you're noticing what I'm doing works, that is the macro confidence. That is a natural drug. It was amazing today when right before I got on the rebounder and I did my affirmations. Before I got on there, I said, this is a natural high. It's 5 something a.m. I have this natural high right now. I can't recommend the interview enough. The guy is 49. He looks like he's 35. He did the interview with Ed Millett, and the guy was on Gladiator. He's done a bunch of things. The guy looks amazing. He looks amazing. So that's a person I would say, what is he doing? What is he doing? He wakes up at 4 o'clock in the morning naturally with the sun. Obviously he's living in California. It's a little bit easier in going outside and exercising. In New York City in the winter, it's fucking cold. Like this morning, it was kind of cold getting up and it was 47, which isn't cold, but I had shorts on, whatever, not complaining. But that's the thing, is he woke up and he has so much energy because it's a natural energy. He doesn't use drugs. He doesn't eat bad food. He doesn't drink. He said something. He said, I've never missed a meal. I've never missed a meal. Are you kidding me? I've never missed a meal. Listen, do you have to be that religious as talking about the previous comment? Do you have to be that obsessed? No. But if you want to be the best, yes. Yes. Example, one of LeBron's teammates came in and right before practice. And LeBron looks at him. He goes, oh, it's about time he showed up. And it was 15 minutes before practice, so he was on time. And then the guy said something very interesting. Is that Brian Cristiano? No. Yeah, where is Brian Cristiano? The guy's not really producing any content. It's kind of weird. But whatever. He's on his path. Good for him. And I interviewed him. The guy is obsessed. So he's definitely doing the he's doing the dirt right now, as Gary Vaynerchuk will talk about it. Fuck, I forgot what I was talking about before. But, what are you going to do? So if you guys have any questions with this, let me know. I would say if you want the micro wins, LeBron, yeah, thank you. So this is the thing. His teammate said, I showed up 15 minutes before practice, and LeBron said, where were you? And the guy said, early to practice. He said, oh, okay, it's nice for you to show up. LeBron, so this guy said, knowing he was early, LeBron was there at least. So, okay, let me backtrack. He wants people to show up an hour before practice. And then the teammate was saying he knows an hour before practice means LeBron's going to be there an hour before everyone else. And it was the exact same thing. I don't know if you heard of this story. It was Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was, he had this new teammate, and the teammate was telling his story as well. He said, he showed up to practice. He thought nobody was there, but he heard this ball dribbling. It was like 5 a.m. He saw, what's his name, Kobe on there. He was there for 3 hours. They did practice and then stayed another 3 hours. And this guy went up to Kobe and he said, Kobe, why were you here so early? You busted your ass before practice, during practice, and after practice. He said, so you see it. Kobe's not doing it for other people. He's doing it to show himself that he's the best. He's the one showing up. He's the one staying later. And I'm not saying it probably was an opposing player. Yeah, it was an opposing player. But this is the thing. Do it for yourself. What's going on, Erwin? Do it for yourself, yes. But I'm telling you how quickly change can happen. These 4 months, I can't even tell you. And I'll leave you with this, is that I used to do a lot. This is a productivity tip. It's not really a hack because you guys already know it. He said, show the guy whatever he can. Yeah, so he can't beat him. Yeah, that's exactly it. When I show up here and there's no one at the office, and I'm showing up at 8 a.m., been an IT count, remember the way of doing something fearful every day. So I took the microphone, I fucked up the question. Good. You know what it was? The effort. It's not the outcome. It's the effort. I showed up on Saturday. I don't know if you saw my Instagram. I didn't do my best. I had a high heart rate. Jeff He didn't show up 100%. It was cold out. I couldn't feel my hands. I couldn't feel my feet. It was 47 degrees, and when you're along the Hudson, it's like 45, and you're going 20, 25 miles an hour, you get colder. Yeah, I just showed up. Just show up. Honestly, show up. I'll give you that story. Is on, was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. So this guy calls out the gym teacher, and the gym teacher, her name is Serena. So he calls out the gym teacher last week and he says, that class was easy. By the way, this is a class that's in 95-degree heat and you're doing calisthenics and yoga. You're drenched. I could go through 4 water bottles. Okay, so glad I found your channel. You have valuable. See, that's the thing is, a lot of people say, are you doing it for the subscribers? Why don't you have more subscribers? Dude, they're going to come. This is the long game. You guys are seeing the long game right now. You're seeing it. There's no product. Go to iCharles.com. That's my website. It's a piece of shit. It's a piece of shit. It's a dump. It just says like self-development, real estate, and something else. I don't even know why Google is indexing it anymore. It's a dump. But that's the thing is that I had to focus on not everything at once. And that was my issue. I focused on too much. So this is, if you want to hear it, I started understanding, I started piecing it together is that when you start handling things, you really can move on to something else. My one thing, I would say right now there's multiple one things. I can't do calls without going to the gym. And I can't go to the gym without waking up early. And I can't wake up early without going to bed early. And I can't go to bed early if I'm drinking or I'm going out or I'm partying. So so last year it was health. And that's the thing is that when you have a yearly theme, my one thing is 10 things. That have it. Do one thing. My entire theme of 2017. By the way, the time is going to come anyway. The time's going to come, We're not robots. We need to focus on one thing at a time. Yeah, there's residual attention to your last task. When you leave one task, there's residual task. Your phone is the worst thing that you can. I don't care what Gary's talking about. Well, people are going to do it anyway. No, they're addicted. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad for you. Okay? He's talking about that's where the attention is. Too much attention. And guess what? They're depressed. If I ever talk to Gary, that's all I'm going to say. I'm like, I agree. That's where the attention is. Too much attention. Too much. Okay? They're not producing. I was having this conversation with my mom is that I'm talking to girls in New York City and girls, they're working way too hard. They're not chemically wired to work in an office setting. They're supposed to be nurturing and free and everything else. Guys, we're focused and we're robots. And we just go, okay, task, war, task, hunt, task, mate. We are focused. That's why we like to do this. Okay? That's why teaching and nursing is for women and construction and putting things together is men. It's just, that's how it is. Is that politically correct? No, but that's the reason. Jordan Peterson talks about this all the time. So you look at all these guys, and this is the thing, is that the reason, and listen, if you're sensitive and you cry over that, go fuck yourself. But the problem is with guys now is that there is no mission because everything is handed to them. They have no mission. That's the problem. There is no mission. There is no legacy. Do they need to hunt? No. Do they need to mate? No. Can they easily get a job? Yes. There is no mission. So you have to find the mission. The finding of the mission is the suffering in life that Jordan Peterson talks about. The going through that journey, as Campbell talks about. The hero's journey is going through that. We used to do it back in the day. We don't do it back in the day. Back in the day, you'd go into the forest, you'd have to go out into the wilderness, you'd have to come back, and then the tribe would instill, this guy is a man now. This guy has done what he needed to do. They still do that. They have bloodletting. They have all these things. Listen. They're trying to equal out things. No, let people choose what they want to choose, and they will naturally go to where they want to go. They're trying to push things onto people. That's the problem, is that we naturally go where we want to go. And if you push people into certain things, guess what happens? They're unhappy. They're unhappy. That's what happens. Okay? Listen, I've been on the dating apps. Every single girl talks about going on a vacation, coming back from a vacation, or planning a vacation. Okay? Nothing about work. Nothing about, So that's really what it comes down to. What's going on, Matt? How we doing? Welcome to the party. We've just been looking after each other, to say the least. So my macro 2018 goal is business development. Last year was health, business development. Okay, I can't do business development without my health. I could, but then I would be Steve Jobs, and I would die early. And that was the problem with Steve Jobs. And that's why Bill Gates started looking after himself, because he saw his companion pass away at such an early age. And he brought it upon himself. He was so stressed out. He worked so hard. He just didn't have the health with him. He did all the personal development. I'm sorry, he did all the business development, but he didn't look after his health. And that's exactly what he looked. That's exactly, read his last words, Steve Jobs. Read his last words. And to be honest, Gary needs to do that as well. Because Gary is 42, 43. The guy's aging. He's aging prematurely, okay? Stop being pathetic. Okay, that's not really a goal, okay? Stop being pathetic goes into, you know what I'm going to, Jordan Peterson breaks it down step by step. You got to make your bed. Get up early. Early could be 9, early could be 8, early could be 5. Doesn't matter. Just get up early. Whatever you think is early, you get up at that time. Okay? Then you just walk outside. You get a little vitamin D, and then you walk around. Okay? That literally does the confidence of handling a task. Number 2 is you're waking up early, which is a success. And number 3 is you're getting outside, which is exercise. If you do those 3 things consistently for 4 months, you start layering things on top. Okay? So my macro is business development. Each month, I then plan out, okay, I used to have ridiculous amounts of tasks. So this month is I have to get my social game in order. My social game is my Instagram game. So I'm going to be putting out curated posts that are a little bit vulnerable, a little bit authentic, a little bit personal development, a little things. Because I think about this, need to start going outside, I reckon. Last 3 weeks, I haven't left my bedroom trying to... Yeah, dude, it will change your life. Read the book, Power of Full Engagement. Read that book. It talks about it. We actually get less productive over the period of more than 60 minutes, 90 minutes max. You have to get up, not bring your phone, walk around. It's really what it comes down to. All right. So then next month, I'm going to start adding to the blog. That's it. That's my whole month of June. Then in July, I'm going to ask for contributors for the blog. You're going to see this. It's just one focused for 30 days. I used to say, I'm going to write for the blog, I'm going to video for the blog, I'm going to go live for the blog, I'm going to do social media, and it just, nothing happened. I was chaotic, my schedule was crazy, and oh, by the way, I have ridiculous amounts of appointments today. I'm putting on a $2 million place, a $1.1 million place, and then we're taking shots of a studio today. Sometimes I haven't got some... You don't need anything to go outside. You just walk outside like they used to do it. It's just I was watching a mafia documentary, and that's all they did. They never used the phone. They had phones, not cell phones, regular phones. They never used it. It was all belly to belly. That's why they can read someone. And I'm not saying the mafia is good. I'm not saying I agree with them. But when you're belly to belly with someone, when you're outside, it gives you a confidence that you can't put the amount of you can't even measure a natural high. When you started self-development, did you find out that your old friends have victim and scarcity mentality? You know what? They didn't. My friends were very smart. They went to Wake Forest, Syracuse, Maryland. Imagine growing up, you almost don't make it to school. Only 2 schools accepted me. And then you go to school and you almost fail out of college. And all of your friends' parents are like, dude, I don't know what Charles is doing, but don't hang out with him as much. Imagine that. Because there were no entrepreneurs. The internet was like sort of taking off. This is 2005, okay? Facebook was only about a year old. There was no Instagram. YouTube wasn't even started at the time. I remember sitting in my buddy's basement. He goes, "Look at this." He goes, "There's videos online." I was like, "Wow, that's kind of cool." And we were watching, like, at that time it was CKY, which is like the old Jackass and everything else. They would be doing stunts and whatever. I can tell you right now is the number one thing you're going to start seeing is the world clearer. If you go on this path, you will see the world clearer, and you'll be able to say, this didn't happen to me. I chose this. You start actually saying, I chose this food. I chose to wake up at this time. I chose that my client said no. When a client says no, here's an example. This girl, this beautiful, someone was talking about it this morning. Someone that we work out with, she said, I think you're not Chelsea's type. I'm like, I know. That's the thing is, I say, okay, do I have a different approach? Or do I say, you know what, I don't look at her as a problem. I don't look at this situation as a problem. I say, okay, what can I change about myself? Okay, how do I come across a little bit more open or inviting? Because I think there is chemistry. I just came off like, do you want to go out? Do you not want to go out? Maybe that turned her off. I have no idea. But I look at myself. Client says no. I look at myself. How could we improve? Do you think our society decides who we are, or just the way our parents raise us? Well, yeah, it's definitely the second part. Your environment is everything. How you're raised is everything. It's the person you're raised, the area you're raised in, the people you hung out with, everything. Everything was just instilled in you, and money, the health, everything that especially money. For me, it was definitely money, because I remember looking around and saying, like, I need to make up for the lack of money that I had when I was younger. So I started buying suits, going on vacations, going to expensive restaurants, overspending. Anything that came in went out. And I actually see that now. I see people that are 35 and they still live in a studio. As I say that, I live in a studio as well. But they just travel. They spend all their money on traveling, which is fine. Okay. I did read The Rational Male, feeling physical pain while reading it. I was feeling physical pain. Why were we feeling physical pain while reading it? So it's first the environment. But then when you recognize that it's environment and that you can change, is the realization that I want to bring to the world. Is that the product of your environment can be changed. Okay, Way of the Spirit Man, Bible for Dealing with Women. Yeah, they're both really good books. That's the thing is, masculinity right now is shunned upon. Femininity is shunned upon. Like, why are you shunning upon? Those are how we got here. It's like we're all one. No, we're not. No, we're not. Okay? Women are amazing and beautiful, and I love their souls. Men are great. They just need a purpose, and they need freedom. They need a purpose, or they're fucked. The people that retire at 65, they die super early because they have no purpose. They just play golf. That's it. Or they sit down and they watch TV and they think the world is imploding. And then the other is, if their wife dies before they die, they're going to die immediately right after. The stats are there. Like within months, the husband will die, okay? Because they have no purpose. Their purpose was their relationship once they get to an elderly age, okay? So for women, it's more like, I don't understand how childbearing became like a bad term, or, why do you have to go back to work? This is your child. This is your child. But whatever, I'm not a parent. I can't judge. But anyway, talk to you guys soon. If you guys have any questions, today was probably one of my better lives. That must be stress right after the spouse goes. Listen, watch the words that we use. Stress is such a bad word. Jealousy is such a bad word. Western women require more of everything. They don't need it. It's how you present it. If we think that way, I would say if you use the word stress, we have to go back to that, because Tony Robbins used it, and I didn't agree with him when he used it. He said, "You're stressed out." No, don't say that. Stress or rage or jealousy or depression or anger. Stop using those words. Out of balance is a good word. Yes, you have to target the emotion, but once you start saying stress, then you feel stressed, and you say, this is stress, when in fact you're tired, or you're hungry, or you're thirsty, or you're just cranky. You know, when you put everything on a blanket word, it's just not good because then you start living into that. You know, I don't say I'm stressed ever. There are times when it is that, but this is a whole made up word, okay? It can consume you. I remember I used to be jealous. The guy looks like he has it all. By the way, um, he doesn't have it all, okay? If you really look at his body language, he chased a lot of things. He chased a lot of things. Frederick is definitely happier. He chased a lot of things. He chased success. He chased to be the best. Then he chased marriage, and you can see it in one of the episodes. Um, he was just he thought that that would bring him. It's extrinsic goals. Okay, read the book that I'm reading now, which is called Lost Connections. I'm going to talk about it a lot in because the book literally blew my mind. Blew my mind. I used to care about everyone's thoughts on the brand I use, what I'm posting on Instagram, and I said, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to post what I want to post. And it comes down to a point where it's like, wow, that's hard. You know, a lot of people say, oh, that's easy. Okay, you do it. You do it. Oh, if I was in real estate, this is what I would do. Okay, join real estate. That's why I don't judge, you know, a CEO. Yeah, like they could be making better decisions. You know, people say, you know, if I was president, really? Really? If I was the CEO of this company, really? Okay. I would give all of my money back. Really? You'd really? Why don't you give all your money back now? Why don't you give all your money back now? If you opened your own company, you do this. Why don't you open up your own company? So that's where I came from. Is I used to, you know, judge parents, judge relationships, and it's like, dude, you're not even in a relationship. You don't have any kids. You can't really. You would do things differently. Okay. Or when people are in a situation, they're like, I would have handled it this way. I would have attacked the gunman or the guy with the knife, and I would have done it. Okay, really? Okay. So that's the thing is, when I look at a situation now, I literally just say, okay, what would I do differently? But I don't judge in the fact of saying, this is what this, so there's a self-defense. I'll just leave it on this because this has nothing to do with what I'm talking. There's a self-defense guy that I met. He's from Toronto. He's got a big following on YouTube, and he said always keep your hands up. And that's the thing is on the subway. It's New York City, of course. There's a bunch of blah blah blah. Yeah. So that's the thing is always be ready. Always be ready. Always be prepared. The Boy Scouts motto, and that could be prepared for a pitch, prepared for a relationship, prepared for an attractive girl walking by, or she's at Starbucks or something else. I blew my opportunity. This girl was looking at me online, and it's like, why didn't you say something? Always be in that mindset where something could happen that's good, okay, or bad. Always be prepared. So that's why we prepare is for that one time. Why do I do these lives? Because at one time, shit is going to come into my life that I'm going to have to perform, whether it's live TV, whether it's CNBC, whether it's Fox, whether it's, it doesn't matter. Fox Business, self-defense is more dangerous than useful. Yeah, run away. All right, so that was a long one today. Was not expecting 38 minutes. Hope you guys liked it. Any questions, let me know. And of course, as always, leave the comments below. And, happy Tuesday. Just 1% better. The hockey stick growth is going to happen. When I hesitate, girl, I break with a hey. It's all about the effort. It's all about the effort. It's not the outcome. It's all about the effort. That hockey stick growth is going to happen. It comes together, and I swear to God, it is a feeling that is insane. I'm going through it right now. So have an awesome day. Subscribe to the video. Leave your comments below. Whatever you guys want me to talk about. Rock and roll. See you guys tomorrow.